We are on your computer, your mobile device. Just head on over to SuperTalk TV. And today we get to hear from a guy who's trying to make a difference in his town simply by paying off some lunch balances, which is definitely a good thing. Joining us is Ethan Nolan. He's in Tupelo, and he is running the school lunch debt drive. So welcome, Ethan.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going good, and I think your drive is going pretty good. I was keeping up with it a little bit on Facebook, and it looks like you are getting the word out and people are responding. But let's start from the beginning. When did you recognize that maybe the schools in your area could use help in this area in terms of lunch debts?
Well, it was brought to my attention by a friend and also my mother that it was an issue, and I was sort of looking for something to do to wrap my release of my album Expelled. I was looking to put some sort of charity and some sort of movement behind it, and so it just perfectly fit the bill.
So how did you find out about it? Like, do you just call the schools and start asking if they have like lunch balances, or kind of how did you do your investigative work to recognize what's missing?
So somebody tagged me in a Daily Journal article, and so I went and read that about the lunch debt, and then I got in touch with some Tupelo Public Schools officials and got some more information, and then I started talking to the right people, got the balances for each school, and I just started making posts on Facebook, and the community lined up, right behind me. I literally have just been a microphone for this movement, but it's Tupelo, Mississippi. It's the community that's put in the work.
And one of those schools I think you started with, if I read your post correctly, Ethan, is like right across from your house. So you see this school every day. What elementary school did you start with?
We started with Milam. And yes, I do live on the same street as Milam, and so I get to see it every day. And then we went to Carver, which I went to Carver Elementary when I was younger. So that was nice to be able to help them. And then we went ahead and took care of King, Thomas Street, Parkway, Lawndale. And I think that's all of them. I may have, if I didn't miss any. If I did, you'll have to help me out. But
no, that's okay. Well, that's incredible. How it's kind of the ripple effect with that, Ethan, starting sort of just with one. What are you learning, though, as you get connected with the schools and maybe with the lunch staff about why some kids, have this debt? What does it mean to the lunch or to the student when these debts are sort of cleared? And they're not huge, right? Like some of them, I think were a couple $100. That's a large amount of money, but we're not talking about, tens of thousands of dollars worth of debt. But what it means to the school and to the student to have these things cleared.
Yeah, so basically they don't have to be singled out in any way or for any reason. Once their debts are cleared, Tupelo Public Schools does a great job of they don't turn anybody down for food, and they do their best. We just basically came up as a community, and we
Do you know how much in total, Ethan, you've raised, or the community has raised?
We have raised about $2,700 so far.
That's impressive. And you've only been doing this for how long?
About 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I started with a backpack drive for the students, which we'll hand those backpacks out at the end of July or beginning of August. And so it started with the backpacks, and then I heard about the lunch debt, so we went ahead and did that. So we've got 100 backpacks waiting on the back of the bus for the kids for when they're ready, and we're paying off lunch debts. And so that's what's going on right now.
I think that's really cool. Do you have a school left that you haven't cleared? Or are you just doing elementary schools? Will you move on to middle schools, Ethan, or are you taking care of you? And it's okay if you don't. I think you're doing a phenomenal job with what you are. It's just what's next for you, Ethan?
Sure. So the next step is we're going to keep receiving donations, and we're also going to do a free show at Blue Canoe July 29th at 8 p.m. It's a Tuesday. It's a free show. The entire thing will be set up to raise funds for student lunch debt. So we'll have a lot of really talented Tupelo artists on the stage that night, and it'll be a lot of fun. Yeah. So.
Well, because this is a continuing thing, right? And it's no fault necessarily to the student because sometimes they don't have the funds for lunch. And Ethan, you know, I'm not a perfect parent. There have been times that my kid, who's actually here in the studio with us today, is laughing at me because there are times she ran out of money. And you're right, most of our public schools make sure that the kids have something to eat, but it's not always the same as what everyone else is. And if you are in a financial bind, you can understand why students wouldn't want to be singled out necessarily in that way, and that it's going to happen again once school starts back. So it's not something, you know, if you have that kind of ongoing kind of raising of funds for, I think it's just a really cool way to connect your gifts and talents with, which you mentioned, you know, your music, and you're an artist and obviously connected in that area. So you mentioned an album coming out. So give us a minute, Ethan. Tell us about your music and your album that's being released and how we can support you so you can keep supporting your local community.
Okay, yeah, the album is called Expelled. I was expelled from my high school, and it's about just being an outcast and learning to accept yourself and, you know, you turn what someone may think to be a bad position or a bad scenario into a beautiful scenario. It doesn't matter where you are in life. It doesn't matter where you started, where, you know, it doesn't matter what's happened to you. Today, you can choose to love people, and you can, you know, you can accept people, and you can stop dividing people by their beliefs and religions and political beliefs and all that nonsense, and just realize that we're all here on a big rock trying to make it. And, you know, that's pretty much it. The album is about acceptance.
Amen, Ethan. I like that. Kudos to all of that and more. Is there somewhere people can go and maybe get a snippet of it? Are you online? Is there somewhere we can stream it, or has it released yet? Because I think you said it may be upcoming, but when's it drop?
The album is actually streaming on all streaming platforms: Apple Music, Spotify, whatever you use. Enol, E-N-O-L, Expelled is the name of the album. And then if you'd like to watch Expelled be performed live by a full band, we have a YouTube video up of the entire show, of the entire album. And so that will be being performed July 29th at Blue Canoe, along with some other songs and some other artists doing their things. So, yeah, go check out the album, Expelled, and watch the live video, because I think that's potentially what sets me apart from some other rappers, is that I have a full band behind me, and we're, you know, we're not using backtracks, and so we're just trying to do it the right way.
There you go. And also giving back to your community and reminding folks that when we support our local artists, even by going to the Blue Canoe or streaming it or watching it, then we're turning around and supporting our local communities as well, because artists like yourself and small business owners, which independent artists absolutely are, they always are giving back. Mm-hmm. So if we want to give back to your school lunch debt drive, Ethan, is there a way to do that specifically if people feel moved to be a part of that for you?
Yes. So I'm still accepting donations via check, Cash App, or Venmo right now. And if you want me to
I can share
link those,
that.
I can.
You can, and I can share it in our Good Things Facebook group, Ethan. But kudos to you,
Okay.
$2,700 already raised there for the Tupelo area, I think is a very good thing. So I thank you for your time.
Yeah, awesome. All right, thank you.
All righty, you guys stick with us. We got more for you coming up next.